was a real nice weekend, and I didn't do a video this weekend. I don't know if you noticed, but I thought I'd put one out today that I think is food for thought anyways. I think that when you're learning the guitar, that for every major chord you learn, for every one, so let's say you're going to start with the A chord, or maybe it's the B chord, or maybe it's the C or the D or the E, or the F or the G, any of those. When you're learning those chords in this position up here, the first position, I think it's a good idea to learn a power chord to go with it. So if you're working on the G, you need to be able to find a power chord in G. And there's a couple places you can find a G power chord. And I thought I'd show that to you today, along with C and D. And there's many, believe me. I'm not going to sit and do them all today. If you have a little app that shows you chords, look up the chord that you're interested in, say like G or maybe it's C, but find the ones that have the number 5 after them. So it says C5, that's a power chord. And if it says D5, that's a power chord, okay? So find one power chord to go with the major chord you're learning in the first position. I think that if you're learning guitar, or if you've already learned all those chords and you don't know about it, you need to go back and get one power chord for every single one of those chords. I have Tilly here with me today. She's digging a place to lay down, I guess. Let's get her settled. There we go. Are you done yet? Could you turn around? I don't think everybody wants to see your tail. Yeah. Okay, here she is. Good girl. All right. There you go. Good girl. All right. She's hard to get settled. She's like a little Tootsie Roll. This guitar sounds great. I'm playing the Krutz today. I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, I thought maybe the tuner had the name wiped out there, but it doesn't. You still see it on the headstock. But yeah, it's a Krutz guitar. When I went to visit the company, Krutz, I love that so much. It was so much fun. When I was there, they gave me this guitar. Now, there's no strings attached. I'm not sponsoring them. But I don't have to do this. But when I play something that sounds this good, I think it's good to share. This thing's only $699. Has a solid spruce top, and the back and sides are koa. I have a sound hole pickup in it right now. And, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to cough on you. So, yeah, so it has a sound hole pickup in it, and it's a little Fishman. I like that too. And so when I run it out, I can just get such great sound. It's so easy to play this guitar. So it's a dreadnought, and I generally don't play dreadnoughts, but I've been enjoying this one so much. I just thought I'd use it today. It sounds so amazing. Yeah, it's a great guitar. Krutz, K-R-U-T-Z. The first one I purchased, I bought it at Clovis. And it was just as surprising as this one. It's more of an auditorium size. This is called their Sundance. And you check them out on their line, on the website. You can find it under Krutz Strings, I think is what it's called. And I'll put it up there and make sure I got that right. But for $699, and again, I think that's the price. I'll correct it if it's wrong. But for $699, a solid top guitar with bone nut and saddle is really good. This is really nice sounding. And it's easy to play at that. Of course, I set it up to my liking. I put licks or strings on it. I also changed these out, not because They didn't have plastic in here. They had some kind of composite. I don't know what it was, but I wanted white. So I put, what do you call those? Tusk. It's not real tusk. It's a manufactured like tusk material. Again, it's supposed to bring out the sound when you're using them, and I think it does work really well. I think they may have had some in there already. Whatever they had, it was some kind of a composite, and it definitely wasn't plastic. But and they sounded good too. But I put these in because I wanted white. The ones that were black. So it's just a preference. And so I just set it up, but it already had bone nut and saddle on it. I didn't have to change that out. And I would if I got a guitar that was using plastic. I always change it out. It sounds awesome. Okay, so back to what we were gonna do. So today I want to talk to you about power chords. I know I've put some videos out before, but I want this one, the theme is more to encourage you to learn a power chord for every major chord you're learning when you're learning guitar. If you're learning the G chord, for instance, here's G here. There's a power chord for G here, and there's one here. I think we'll learn this one up here. And if you're learning the C, right? Well, there's one right here. And if you're learning the F chord, well, there's one right here. Actually, for those of you that struggle with F chords, here's an alternative. But let's talk first about what is a power chord. Well, we kind of have to back up and tell you what a chord is made up of. A regular major chord has to have 3 notes, okay? And let's just do it this way. Those 3 notes, okay, they have to have what we call the 1, the 3, and the 5, okay? All right, so the 1 is always the root. And so let's call the thumb here the number 1 or the root. And let's say we're looking for the notes in a C chord. So we want the 1, the 3, and the 5, right? So here's C, D, E. So there's one of them. You have to have a C and you have to have an E. And then you have to have F and G, right? C, E, and G. Those 3 notes will make a chord, and it just so happens they make the C chord, okay? But a power chord is different. It's not a major chord at all. In fact, it's removing the 3rd, okay? So you just have the 1 and the 5. So to find the power chord, you have to know where your root notes are at. I just happen to know that this is C right here. An interesting thing is that when you find a root note on your this low E string, your 6th string, if you move over 1, 2 strings and then down 2 strings, you'll find that same note. It works every time. And another interesting thing is if you move over, and let's say you're right here. Okay, that's a D. It just happens to be a D. Well, same thing. If you move over 2 strings, 1, 2, and then up 2, you'll find another D, okay? All right, so we know that part. Let's go back to the C. We know where those 2 are. Well, so it would just be the C and the G, okay? Right? C, D, E, F, G. C and the G. It doesn't have the 3, okay? It doesn't have the F or the E, okay? So we won't have that. So, okay, so do you got that? All right, I hope I didn't confuse you. All right, let's do the G, okay? Let's find the power chord for G. What is that going to be made up of? Well, G, the root note is G, and A, because we're going to start over again, B, C, and D. So G and D are going to make up the power chord because there's no 3. If we want a major chord, it would be G, A, B, G, B, and D. Okay, that would make up the major chord. But a power chord does not have the 3. So what's nice about that is usually what makes a minor chord is just lowering a half a step the 3rd note. And so because you don't have one, a power chord can actually fill in for a minor, or it can fill in for a major chord. That's what's really neat about power chords. So I hope that made sense. If it didn't, don't worry about it. All right? Okay. So, but do know this. Power chord is 2 notes, and those 2 notes are made up of the 1 and the 5. And so let's look at C, for instance. Okay, so there's the major chord. So to learn a power chord, you want to find the root note. And I happen to know there's a root note here on that low E string. The reason why, if you don't know it, you can figure it out. You know this is open E, right? And E to F is one fret or half a step. And then F to G is 2 half steps, right? Or 2 frets. And then G to A, 2 steps, or 2 frets. And then A to B, 2 frets. And B to C is only 1 fret. So E to F and B to C is only 1 fret, okay? Everything else is 2 frets. So it's E to F, 1 fret, F to G, 2 frets, G to A, 2 frets, A to B, 2 frets, B to C. It's going to be 1 fret. Got that? All right. So we have a C now. All right. I know immediately where another C is at. You just go over 2 frets and down 2. So that's a C. So let's just pick that up and duplicate it, okay? There it is. It's just nice. It's going to make our chord a little fuller because it just happens to be there. But the note that we're looking for is the G, is 1 string over up 2 frets. It makes kind of an L shape. That works all over the place, okay? That's a power chord for C. It only has this C and the G note. This one's duplicated. Let's see. Let's test it. Hear that? All right, so now you've learned a power chord for C. It's nice to know this. I'm going to show you why in just a minute. Okay, so now let's do F. So F is generally one of those chords that everybody struggles with, right? You're always worried about doing the F chord because you have a hard time rolling over to it. And really that's the best approach, is start by playing these 3 strings and then just roll that first finger, that pointer finger over onto the E string, 1st fret. And you got a nice F chord. But it just so happens there's a couple places you can pick up an F, but I'm going to use here. Okay, it's going to, I know there's a root note here for F, and let's test that out. This is an A string. Okay, so A to B is 2 frets, B to C is 1 fret, right? C to D, 2 frets, D to E, 2 frets, and then E to F, always 1 fret. So there it is, there's F. And so I just happen to know right away, just like with the C where another F is at, just move over 2 strings and up 2. There it is. It's an octave higher, but that's an F, okay? So we can use that to bring that chord out, but the power chord, again, is only made up of 2 notes, F, G, A, B, C. So F and C. So I happen to know that C right there, because we learned it over here, right? It was a duplicate, remember? There's a C, so F and C is there. There's our power chord, 2 notes, and we have one that's duplicated, but it's still 2 notes. That's an F. It's another place to do an F. So far we have a C, F, right? Okay, now let's do the G chord. Here's our G, and our root note for G is right here. I know that because we just got through going all the way up here to F. Move up 2 more frets, there's the G. And guess what? Same thing. There's a duplicate G over here. Just move over 2 strings up 2 frets. There's the duplicate. And the G is made up of G, A, B, C, D, G, and D. So there's a D. Let's test it out. Yep. Okay. So there's the F. So far we have C, F, move up 2, same shape, you notice. They're all the same shape, you're just moving them around. Of course you could play it up here. To play here. And it's simple. It's very, very simple to learn these chords, and to me they're super powerful. Like the E chord. E is wonderful because here's the E here, and again, because I can go over 2 strings and up 2 frets, I can find my other E there. And E is made up of E, F, G, A, B, right? E and B. There it is, the B right there. Got it? All right, so we've got that. There's D. If this is E, that go back 2, it has to be E, A, D, right? So that works all the way up the fretboard. D, E to F is 1 fret, F, 2 frets is G. So that means this is a C right here. C, D, see how that works? Look how powerful that is. Here's a G. There's the A, B, B to C, C to D, try. Play around with those. I'm telling you, they'll help you out a lot with getting faster in your transitions, moving around the fingerboard, learning where notes are at, learning where your root notes are at. Just if you test it out and you keep working at it over and over and over again, it'll then become part of you. And you'll find if you're playing, particularly if you're playing in church let me tell you that a lot of the songs are just power chords. Really, when you're playing, it's nice to have alternatives. This guitar sounds great. And Elixir strings are nice. I debated what to put on here. And it sounds good picked too. I think it's great. Anyways, I guess I'll leave it there. But we have a Zoom call coming up tomorrow. And so any members, if you're listening to this today, don't forget, if you didn't get the link by now, then I didn't send it to you or it's in your spam box, one or the other. So send me an email, okay? So don't forget the email. And I'll send you one. But don't wait till last minute because it makes it hard. I'll do it. I'll look just before I go on. But it makes it hard because I might miss you. It might not come through fast enough. And then you'll miss out. So join us tomorrow. And and if you're interested in these guitars, and again, I'm not sponsoring them, but I am bringing it up as this is a nice guitar. Has nice sustain. Anyways, all right. Well, I'm going to leave it right there, and I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are in this world. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.